Man and Machine is brought to you by Highflex Mobile Hose Service, Shannons Insurance for Motoring Enthusiasts, and the following sponsors.
Yeah, baby!
It's unbelievable! Bring it on!
Welcome to Man and Machine. We've found another hidden car collection, and this one's got some fantastic variety. So stay tuned and we'll check them out. Barry, it's fantastic to be here. Tell us where it all started with you for cars. I mean, I've known you for a while, and I think I'll be right in saying that you live and breathe cars 24/7.
Yeah, you're probably right there, Glenn. It all started for me, probably back when I was almost able to walk. Dad's been in the automotive repair industry and had cars all of our lives. So, you know, my first memories are going and getting a 9/16 ring spanner out of the toolbox for Dad when he was laying underneath the old HQ. So that's where it all started for me, and then it's just grown and grown and grown from there.
One of your passions is the XD and XE Falcon. Tell us about that.
Dad was, I think, it's service manager at Lion Ford back in '82, and he came home with his brand new company car, which was a charcoal 351 4-speed XE ESP, and it's just imprinted on my brain from there.
And you do have some other brands here, don't you?
Yeah, there's a few others floating around. I've got a beautiful HK Prem here that's Helen, my wife's absolute favourite car. I've got a couple of Bathurst Monaros, HTs. I'm looking for a Cobra, so I'm going to do a little bit of refining, move a couple of the XDs and Es and a couple on, and then bring a couple of new ones into the collection.
What an old classic, mate. This beautiful HK Premier. Tell us all about it.
Oh, this is just stunning. It's actually a 1968 HK Prem, 186 Power Glide. And as you can see, it's just in absolutely amazing condition. Just absolute class and luxury. I think the silver mink paint with the black trim.
And the trim is spectacular. It reminds me of an old 60s lounge chair with the buttons and the pleats. It's beautiful.
It is amazing, and I'm told that the back seat and everything's all original trim. It's in amazing condition from '68.
Gee, so maybe it might have been an old couple's car?
It may have been. It's actually got its full service history. He wrote down all of the mileage that he did in the first 10 or 15 years. All that paperwork came with the car. So I think it was an older person's car, and they certainly looked after it. It's probably the most reliable car I've got in my collection. Every time I hop in it, I pull the choke out, turn the key, it starts, and off we go and drive. So it's just a fantastic old cruiser to take out.
It just oozes a class. Being a Premier, and the colour is awesome, isn't it?
Yeah, the colour's just fantastic. I've used it for a few weddings for friends of mine. And it just photographs so well, looks so good on the road. It's just a really stunning colour with the black trim too. It really complements it. Well, Glenn, this is a 351 4-speed XE ESP, obviously based off the Fairmont gear. This particular car was owned by Dick Johnson late in '82. It was his own personal car.
Wow.
And it has amazing performance, got a beautiful sound to it.
I mean, Dick is an amazing guy, really. He and his brother put a lot of work into their race cars over the years, building them at home in the shed. The real story of a typical battler.
An absolute typical battler, yeah. And this is just a fantastic car, and I certainly love the little modifications that he did make to it. I was actually lucky enough 4 or 5 years ago to have Dick actually sign the car, or he and Stephen actually signed the car for me and verified what it was. And I asked Dick why it performed so well. And he said it's all in the heads.
Being an absolute Cleveland guru, I suppose he couldn't help himself.
One of the things you notice is he's actually drilled some holes in the back of the air cleaner and all of those sorts of things. So that it got in, the boys obviously couldn't help but play with it.
Some stealthy mods.
That's exactly it.
So effectively it was their family car?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was his family car for a little while. So he'd had a couple of others before it, but that was certainly one of the last ones that he had.
Where did you pick this up from?
It's less than 5 minutes away from where I live, and I've been driving past it every day for 10 years.
HighFlex Mobile Hose Service, your complete hose breakdown and on-site service partner. HighFlex Mobile Hose Service offers a complete range of quality guaranteed hydraulic and industrial hose and fittings products. We also specialise in preventative maintenance programs such as on-site hose condition auditing, testing and compliance. With our national fleet of qualified technicians, you can rely on HighFlex Mobile Hose Service's rapid response to all of your needs. Call 1300 HighFlex, 24 hours, 7 days a week. Do you have a hydraulic background? Come and join the dynamic HighFlex team. Check out opportunities at www.highflex.com.au.
Shannons Club, a hub for motoring enthusiasts. So join, create your own garage, share pics, videos and stories of your current and past machines, connect with other enthusiasts. Be sure to watch Shannons Club TV with a host of dedicated motoring channels, including past episodes of Man and Machine. So jump on board with Shannons Club. I'll see you on there.
We've got an XD here, Barry.
Yeah, look, I suppose a bit of a break from all the XEs that I've got, Glenn, but no, here's a beautiful example of a XD ESP Fairmont Gear 351 4-speed manual, electric windows with a factory sunroof.
Fully loaded.
Fully loaded, fully loaded.
And the condition of this car is absolutely spectacular, and the colour. The Hermitage looks amazing, doesn't it?
Hermitage, look, I think it's one of the best combinations in XD. Hermitage with the black trim. There's some few beautiful black cars out there, black with black trim, which are really quite nice, but I really love the contrast between the Hermitage with the black trim.
The charcoal 351 4-speed XE ESP, I believe that's got really low kilometres on it, Barry.
Yeah, it does, Glenn. That's a rare car. It seems to be the pinnacle that people are chasing at the moment. Everyone loves that charcoal car. You know, it certainly highlights the orange moulds and the gold wheels. I'm lucky enough, I brought it from a friend of mine up in Queensland. 61,000 kilometres on it, genuine 351 4-speed car. Still has Uni-Royal tyres fitted to it. It's got the most immaculate trim that I've probably ever seen in an XE ESP, and I've seen a lot of them. It's original paint, which is getting thin in a couple of little areas. But one thing that really makes that car a standout rarity for me was the fact that it's actually got a dealer-fitted metal sunroof in it. And I actually know from back in the day, there was a memo that came out to the Ford service and dealers to say not to fit sunroofs to 351 manual cars. So the dealer obviously went against the wishes of Ford at the time, and the owner's dollar spoke, but I'm lucky enough to have one with a sunroof in it, so it's quite a rare beast.
Barry, is this what I think it is?
Yeah, Glenn, this is a genuine 1969 HT Bathurst 350 manual Monaro.
Wow, where did you pick this up from?
Good mate of mine actually rang me and said, I know where there's a Monaro, you really should come have a look at it. The next thing is, it's less than 5 minutes away from where I live, and I've been driving past it every day for 10 years.
So that's just been stored away?
Just been stored away in a carport for 10 years with the previous owner.
What a dream find.
It's done 111,000 miles. Some of the paint's still original engine bay, original interior still. Original engine, matching number engine, never been out of the car.
Big tank, big fuel tank?
Big fuel tank, correct gearbox, all the right wheels. You know, a couple of little things that's been missing, but we'll put those back on it and keep it pretty much exactly as it is.
What an epic car, and a Bathurst winner they were too, weren't they?
Yeah, look, they were a Bathurst winner. They was, I think from my memory, it was the Bathurst winning car in 1969 was the HT. So they are an absolute epic car. I'm lucky enough to have two of them at the moment.
Because so often over the years, as you and I both know, you'd see so many of the Monaros and other cars hotted up, drag raced, engine swaps, braided hoses everywhere. Yeah. Not that I don't like that sort of thing, but it's rare to find one that's just still factory stock.
And look, there was a time there where the cars weren't worth a lot of money, so people were hotting them up and all of those performance parts in the 70s and 80s. So to now find ones that are basically dead original is just amazing.
And you've also got one in the build too, I believe, a blue one in the restoration process?
Yeah, I've got another HT 350 in the build at the moment. I'm just finishing the engine off, just about to put it back in. And I'll actually be selling that one.
Maybe I could sell my house and buy it.
Yeah, no problem at all. We can work out a deal there.
Well, here's something a bit different, a Goss Special.
Yeah, Glenn, it's a XD Goss Special. I think they only build a handful of these cars. Up to 7 is the number I've heard, but nobody's exactly sure on the build numbers of them.
Well, John Goss was an iconic driver in the day. And with the earlier Goss specials stemming through to this, it must be a very rare car.
Yeah, look Glenn, I'd certainly say it is a rare car. I actually own two of these. I actually own the very, very first one, which is a red one with vinyl C-pillar trims on it.
So the red Goss special that Johnny Goss was standing next to in the marketing campaign, you actually own that car?
Yeah, I actually own that car, and it's currently in restoration at the moment. And then we've got this example here, which is a genuine 12,000 kilometre car. Original paint, original trim, everything's dead original on it.
Geez, I mean, you've only got to look at the thing outside and inside. It looks like a fresh car, and no wonder now I know why.
Yeah, no, it's an absolutely amazing car. We've learned a lot from it, just from little markings and things on it. One of the things that John Goss did, they put these nice 2-inch flares on it. I think they were called a hurricane wheel back in the day, those orange wheels. And what he did is they actually put a fair amount of time and effort into the suspension of these cars, sway bars, shock absorbers and everything in the vehicles. And it is a genuine factory 351 4-speed manual.
Barry, the Cougar's a pretty interesting machine, the convertible.
I was looking around, some years ago now, when I was business was going okay and I was just starting to get a few dollars together, and I thought I'd really like to restore a car with Dad and start my collection off, in essence, as it was. So I found the Cougar. It had been imported from the States. It's a genuine 1969 Cougar 351 Windsor 4V. It's the XR7 convertible. So Dad and I put that together over about 4 or 5 years. So there's a real emotional tie back with Dad and I to that car. Dad quite often takes it out on his birthday for a drive, and we're the only two guys that get in it and drive that one. So it's a really special bond between the two of us. And
he's still turning spanners today, isn't he, your dad?
He's still turning spanners today, and I suppose with a collection, I keep him off the streets and nice and busy. One thing you know, Glenn, is you'll never ever find another one of these anywhere.
Aeroflow, famous for our massive range of hose fittings and performance products, now includes Krypton, the ultimate in lightweight hose and fittings. Check out our new 2015 catalogue, including air filters, oil filters, hoses, fittings, engine and transmission parts, fuel systems, tanks, silicone hose, exhaust, air conditioning, turbo and nitrous accessories, tools and equipment, plus all your Aeroflow Outlaw Nitro funny car apparel. Get your free catalogue and shop online at aeroflowperformance.com.
Damn, there's just no room under here.
There's no need to do this anymore when you can buy a Tough Lift hoist starting from only $26.50. With over 20 models in their range, including 2-post, 4-post, scissor lift, motorcycle and truck. They're great for storage too. All Tough Lift hoists have Australian standard certification and WorkSafe design registration. With an impressive warranty, in-house technical support and installation options Australia-wide, what are you waiting for? Check out toughlift.com.au.
I love my Tough Lift.
Rare Spares has over 50,000 product lines and releases over 500 new products every year. Your local Rare Spares distributor has what you need when you need it. And as the only restoration company officially backed by Holden and Ford, we take our part in your project very seriously. Rare Spares, more than just a part in your project.
So you're well into the early cars and the XB Coupe.
Yeah, the XB Coupe, again, I pride that actually out of the same collection up in Queensland where this charcoal car came from. That's a very, very, very rare car for its day. It's a late XB. It's a factory 351 4-speed car. It's a Falcon 500 GS. It's mulberry in colour, white roof, sunroof and power steering with white trim. I'm told that back in the day, that would have been a more expensive car to buy than a GT Coupe, but that was the time when the insurance companies were putting the pressure on the GT name, so people were going and optioning their Falcon 500 up to the GS, ticking every box on the option sheet and getting around it that way.
The ZC Fairlane, those things are an awesome cruiser, aren't they?
They're just an awesome cruiser back from the day. I was lucky enough, I've been chasing that car for 7 years now. It actually lived next door to my father-in-law. And in essence the original owner's son still had the vehicle. He actually had an XY GT Ho back in the day, and they had twins, so they actually swapped that with the father-in-law's car back to the Fairlane because they could actually fit the double pram into the boot. It's an amazing, beautiful car to drive on the road, just pure luxury from back in the 60s.
Moonraker. Tell me more.
Well, one thing you know, Glenn, is you'll never ever find another one of these anywhere. This is the Moonraker. It's one of the very first production XDs ever made. It's a 6-month 1979 car, 351 auto. The Ford design team of the day, Wayne Draper, Herb Grassi and the group of the boys, I believe, took this from production straight into the design studio. They had the idea that they wanted to do something special for the Sydney Motor Show, so they did what designers do. They added some nice aluminium holes. They really went quite futuristic with it to go along with the release of the Moonraker 007 James Bond movie. And then they took it up to the Sydney Motor Show and displayed it there.
Fantastic. And how's the computer on the dash?
The computer on the dash is amazing. There's a couple of weird features of this. Obviously the design stuff and the outside stuff the guys did. It actually has a fully functioning and still working trip computer, fuel gauge and everything on the dash. And it has an analogue TV in the back seat. I spoke with Wayne Draper, who's passed now, but who was behind the phase cars. Wayne was there working on it. I believe Herb Grassi was there working on it. And they all decided they'd put together this car for the Sydney Motor Show. To be honest, I think they probably built just about the ugliest car that they ever could have. But look, it's certainly got some very unique features, and 1979 to have a television in the back seat and a trip computer on the dash is certainly right out there.
Now, I believe it was a pretty famous car back in the day. It even featured on the Don Lane show, is that correct?
Yeah, my understanding is, Glenn, what happened with the car is it went through the Sydney Motor Show circuit, and most cars, Ford back in the day, the development cars, they sort of kept them and put them back away. This one got given away as a prize on the Don Lane show, and some farmers from Whittlesea actually got it. And it became their family car. They only had utilities, so it actually became their family car, and they owned it right up until we brought it. So.
Wow, and what state was it in when you found it?
Pretty much, Glenn, the car was exactly as we've got it here today. It's in essence sort of like a barn find. The sunroof glass had broken. I've sourced a new one for it, but I haven't put it in yet. The original boot spoiler was taken off because it had rusted, where the design team boys obviously didn't fix it properly. But we've retained all those components, so we'll put those back on it. But in essence, I'm going to leave it exactly as it is in its original condition as we found it.
And I believe with analogue TV now gone, the TV doesn't work anymore.
No, the TV gets power and it can light up, but maybe we need to find a set-top box and bolt onto the top of it.
We missed out by about a year.
Missed out by 12 months, for sure.
So the car was just sitting in storage?
Yeah, look, the owners that I found the car off had actually given it to their mechanic. The old lady, her husband had sadly passed away, and she decided to let it go. And I received a phone call from a mate of mine who knew that I was into these cars. He said, look, I found this thing, it's going on the market. He described it to me. I knew exactly what it was. It was in the Spotlight on Ford book, and there's certainly articles written about it. So we basically went to the bank, grabbed some cash and went over and brought it.
So the heart was racing.
Heart was racing, hooked the car trailer on, took some cash and went and grabbed it, so.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Barry, I believe we're standing next to a very rare car right here.
Yeah, Glenn, this is a very, very rare car. This is what's called a Dick Johnson Grand Prix Turbo. They were built by a country dealer team with Dick Johnson's blessing and signature back in the end of 1982 into 83. We know at this stage of 43 of them. They're all build numbered, and I actually know of car number 43, and I've never seen a higher build number.
They canned the V8, didn't they, and went to the 6-cylinder only, deeming a need for such a car.
Yeah, correct. You know, September, October basically in 82, or November was the last one, was the last of the Cleveland V8s. Ford had made the decision that they weren't going to build V8 cars here in Australia anymore. So this was where this one came from.
And obviously quite a bit of history with the build on this car too.
Yeah, look, there's a fair bit of history with the build on these. They were actually predominantly built in Bayswater to start with. They took the 6-cylinder 4.1 litre engine, put the turbocharger on the side of it. Traditionally, they were all built with a carburettor. This particular car did its first 16,000 kilometres with its first owner. Then it was sold to Queensland, and it had a fuel injection system fitted to it there, and it's only got 20,000 kilometres on it now.
20,000 kilometres?
20,000 original kilometres.
Where do you find such a car?
They're not easy to find, and when I saw it, I actually jumped on it straight away and got right into it.
And I believe this isn't the only one you've got.
I've actually got 3 of these, so I'd actually brought 2 others before this one. And then I found this one, so this one will be a keeper, and the other two will at some stage probably find themselves new homes with new owners.
I would imagine performance would be pretty serious too.
The performance on these is absolutely fantastic. You know, they realistically had better performance back in the day than the 351s did. The 351s, obviously being factory, had all the pollution gear and all of the above on it. These really do fly. The guys here with Country Dealer Team and Dick Johnson put some anger back into these Falcons.
Well, they're a real workhorse engine, these 250 Crossflows, and with turbocharging on them and that long stroke, it just brings them to life.
It does bring them to life. People don't understand the torque that these 4.1 engines have. You know, they quite often fitted them to the F350s, and they used to tow around 4 tonne on the back of F350s with them, so they're a really good, strong engine.
And the car looks very original too throughout.
This car is absolutely original. This is its original paint, original trim, carpet, all of its original glass is still retained on the vehicle. This car was actually ordered by the original owner with Neil wheels on it. The Grand Prix turbos traditionally had an Anki wheel, which was sourced by Jim Fanico to put on them. But this guy here, he really liked these Neil wheels. I really quite like them as well. They certainly look as good as the Yankis on the car.
Oh, they look absolutely sensational. And the flares, everything just sort of suits it, doesn't it? It
yeah,
fits just right.
It's just right. It's, you know, it's not too over the top, but it, you know, certainly says, hey, look at me, I've got something under the bonnet here.
It's almost got that Group C body kit look about it, hasn't
it?
it?
It does. It's sort of got that real Group C feel about it. So I think that's what Dick was looking for when they were designing them.
What a spectacular car.
No, thanks, Glenn. It's a beautiful example.
We're driving this super rare Dick Johnson Grand Prix Turbo, this XE Falcon.
Always wanted your very own muscle car or classic? Then Image Classic Cars is your solution. Where pride, knowledge, quality and service counts for the ultimate experience. From award-winning concourse restorations to full custom builds, muscle cars to classics of all makes and models, right-hand drive conversions, even Australia-wide enclosed pickup and delivery for your pride and joy. Also currently taking orders for the spectacular Image Classic Cars Eleanor Mustang, custom built to suit your personal requirements. Image Classic Cars, live the dream. A tough car needs a tough oil, and that's when you need Gulf Western Oil. It's Australian-owned, developed and manufactured in their state-of-the-art production facility. So no matter what you drive, you can be assured you're in the right hands for all your lubrication needs. Gulf Western Oil, the tough Australian.
We're driving this super rare Dick Johnson Grand Prix Turbo, this XE Falcon. What a very interesting part of 6-cylinder Falcon history in Australia. What was Dick Johnson's involvement? Did he want a bit of the lucrative special vehicles market? Or was he actually prepping a car to race? Because in 1985, the Group A category, the new category of racing, was going to take over. And you had to have a minimum of 500 factory production cars to be able to run. Now in the Group C period, where Dick was running his True Blue and Green's tough cars, things were different. There was a lot more flexibility and freedoms then. Group A was going to be entirely different. And when Ford Australia chopped the V8, what was going to happen? What was Dick going to race? So, I reckon this is what was going on. Of course he wanted to race a Falcon and take on the world in the Group A racing category. Sadly, it never happened, and then he ended up racing the Mustang and then moving forward to the RS 500 Cosworth Sierra. But can you just imagine it? Turbocharged 6-cylinder Falcons back in the day, taking on the world and giving them hell. That would have been absolutely epic. It's really, really sad that that didn't happen. When you think about it, they did an amazing job back in the early 80s on this 250 Crossflow 6-cylinder engine. You've got to remember they didn't quite have the technology that we have available to us today when it came to engine management systems. So they had to do a lot of work to make sure these things were going to be not only drivable, but also reliable. Now the stock standard EFI 250 6-cylinder engine made about 150 horsepower. She was no fire breather. They did a quarter mile in around about a 16.9, and they did a 0 to 100 in about 9.8 seconds. They were a really good workhorse, a stump puller. They had a long stroke and a small bore, so inherently they weren't really a racing engine at all. But put a turbocharger on these babies and look out. The world changes, the world erupts. A world of torque and a heap of power. that big long stroke. As soon as you increase volumetric efficiency and start getting all of that turbocharged forced induction acting on that inlet, these things just come alive like you wouldn't believe. These babies ran a 0 to 100 in about 7.1 seconds and a blistering 14.9 over the quarter mile. Now, a race engine inherently runs a very large bore and a short stroke. Good power from mid to top end. They want to rev. The big long stroke engines, different kettle of fish. But it doesn't matter with forced induction and turbocharging. You don't need to rev them. They make the power. And that's exactly what these things did. They made around 250 horsepower and a whole world of neck-snapping torque. And that is what I'm talking about. One of the biggest problems with this car is this. Traction. There isn't any. They were just first and second gear and feathering the throttle. This thing has got so much torque from 2,000 RPM onwards, you've got no idea. It feels like it's an 8-litre engine. And that's the beauty of efficient turbocharging. Nail the throttle, 2,500 RPM. Pulls like an absolute bat out of hell. It's almost a little frightening, to be honest with you. We know that the V8's a strong thing and they'll make good mid-range to top-end power, but this thing, as soon as it hits 2,800 to 3,000 RPM, the boost comes on strong. The red light in the dash indicates we've got full boost and we've actually got the methanol and water injection happening. And this thing is absolutely insane. I've got to be honest with you, I didn't expect it to be this fast. I knew it'd be brisk, but I thought it might be conservative. I was totally wrong. I put this thing up against our current day XR6 Falcon turbos in the modern era, and I reckon this thing would give them absolute hell. It'd fill the rear view mirror for that whole sprint. Believe me, I'd put my money on this old girl. I really would. So what are my final thoughts on this car? I've got to be honest, absolutely blown away. For a car with early 80s technology and a good old 250 cross-flow 6-cylinder Falcon engine, which I only ever thought was really a bit of a workhorse, I'm gobsmacked. The power this car creates, the torque it creates, and the drivability, and the way the thing drives and handles is just amazing. It's so sad this car didn't continue in its model range, because I think it was really heavily underrated. The people that put all the work into it did an absolutely spectacular job. A credit to everyone involved.
Man & Machine is brought to you by HighFlex Mobile Hose Service, Shannons Insurance for Motoring Enthusiasts, and the following sponsors.